Hello everybody, and how are we? Now, I wasn't going to start the camera here because I'm in the middle of, I'm on the outskirts of Canterbury. However, as I was cutting through the traffic, I remembered that I got my very first speeding ticket on this hill, coming the other way. I was coming down the hill, and the copper was just on that corner back there, and I was on my RD80LC, if anyone remembers those. It was cheaper to insure than the 125, and obviously when you're a lad you don't have a lot of money, so I had the 80LC, cracking little bike. But the worst thing was, just on these bends up here, as I was coming the other way, a bike came towards me and he was waving and he was doing that above his head, which, if anyone remembers the old British comic Jim Davidson, that was his nick thing for the old bill. And as I'm thinking, what's he doing that for? I then saw the speed camera. I think I was doing, it's a 30, was I doing 40 something? I was anyway. And obviously I got pulled over down the bottom of the hill and got 3 points and a fine. What was the fine back then? I can't remember. 30 quid? I can't remember. But part of me was actually like, oh, it's a little badge of honour. Got my first speeding ticket on an LC. Yeah, crazy, isn't it? So anyway, that's why I stuck the camera back on. I'm on my way home now. The weather started to turn. It's getting a bit miserable. And I did put on the old... It is trying to turn me round consistently because I'm going a different way that it wants to send me, because I don't want to go back through Canterbury. Canterbury was just fucking gridlocked, and I had a lovely ride through the lanes on the way here, and then hit Canterbury, just solid traffic, and I thought, no, I've got to get out of here. So I got to Broad Oak Road, which is where Robinson Suzuki is. If anyone knows Robinson Suzuki, superb Suzuki dealership, family owned, been run forever, thoroughly nice people. In fact, they celebrate their 55th or 50th anniversary of being a Suzuki dealer. I think they're like the second oldest, or if not the oldest in the country. But yeah, if you need Suzuki parts, go there. I'm sure if you need Suzuki parts, you already know them, to be fair. There's a bit of a puddle up here by the looks of that. Yeah, there is. Let's avoid that, shall we? So yeah, I cut through and thought, right, let's get out of town. Let's cut through. I'm going to head up towards Charlton, and let's just see, as a bit of an experiment, how Go Ride reroutes me, because I'm going west of the route that it wants to take me. So I'm going to see how long it takes to pick the route up, because the route up that it said to go home was the route that I travelled here, and I thought, I've been that way, and I know routes are different going the other way, but I thought, nah, let's go somewhere else. So let's see. I'm going to cut down through Rough Common, if anyone knows this area. But the reason I was going to do a little cheeky video on the way home was travel books, motorcycle travel books. Can you still cut this corner off? No, you can't. It's a while since I've been here. You just better cut the corner off there. Well, I bet they're happy that you can't anymore. Now they put that roundabout in. Yeah, motorcycle travel books. And because I was thinking about it earlier, and I'm going to speak about 4 authors that have all not influenced, encouraged, given me some enthusiasm to ride, entertained me, all of the above. Now, all of these people I have met, and they are all thoroughly nice people. Why are we doing 18 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour limit? Go on, go to the post office. Of course you are. Of course you are. It's pension day. It's probably not pension day, I made that up. But yeah. In no particular order, and all of these have had some sort of effect on me, or as I say, I've met them, or I've just enjoyed their books, but all of them I have met to some extent or another. First and foremost, probably the first and foremost because it's Ted Simon. Now, if you don't know who Ted Simon is and you've been reading motorcycle books, then you've been reading the wrong ones. Ted rode around the world on a knackered old, well, it was knackered at times, Triumph, back in the 70s. You know, before you could just pick up the phone and get parts ordered, before you could have your phone in a little cradle in front of you telling you exactly where to go, what time it was, where the next hotel is, where the next petrol station is. If you break down, you can phone some recovery and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, Ted Simon. I met him at the Overland event a few years back, and he gave a talk, and he's just the most lovely, humble guy you would ever imagine. And although I already had a copy of his book, his original book, I can't remember the name of it. What's his first book called? You're all screaming at the screen now because you know what it is. I bought another copy and he signed it for me while we were there, and obviously that's now tucked away. Yeah, I'll read it when the other one wears out, because I do like reading books. I don't like store them. But yeah, Ted Simon. If you've not read his book, then just read any of them. They really are superb, and the way he writes about his trips is just in a whole different style to a lot of the other things that you will read. Next, and a bit of a sort of a, not random, but Derek Mansfield has written a few, they're like short stories. I think they're called Notes from the Road, different volumes, but they don't start at volume 1, I think, from memory. Does it start at volume 3 or volume 5? Which I quite like, because my favourite ever Stranglers, well, I say my favourite band of Stranglers, obviously, their first album, Bratislava Regicus, was also called 4, and some people thought it was their 4th album. It was their first album, and I always like that. But Derek Mansfield, Notes from the Road, he generally travels east, Mongolia, Ukraine, places like that, because I know he did have a business in the Ukraine. And he's an ex-submariner who, he won't mind me saying, but obviously he's an older gentleman, and he's ridden various motorcycles, generally not bikes that, you know, I think one of them was a, I'm going to say an Indian, or was it an Indian? I can see it. Indian. Anyway, one was a Guzzi, and obviously other stuff, and generally he has issues with these motorcycles in various places, and you know, knocks on doors and people come out and help him, and he always gets from A to B and he enjoys the trips. But so yeah, Derek Mansfield, I met him, there was a company that wanted to do some training to assist travellers, motorcycle travellers, and they asked for some sort of volunteers to come along and be guinea pigs for a course. So myself and a couple of mates went, and Derek was on that as well. And that's when I first met him, and I've met him at a couple of shows. But yeah, thoroughly nice guy. So Derek Mansfield, Notes from the Road, volumes, whatever they are. I read one on my way to Morocco, and I read it around Morocco. It got very beaten up in my luggage, so it does look a bit battered, but that's because it's got a story to tell. So yeah, Derek. Right, Bernard Smith. Again, thoroughly nice guy. Now Bernard Smith and his sadly late wife Kathy travelled around the world on a old BMW called Bertha, and now Kathy is blind, and the whole journey is the perspective from him and from her as they are travelling. with him describing what he can see to her as they're riding along. And it is a lovely book. It's one of these books, it's a beautiful book, that'd be how you describe it. And it's just a nice read. I think it's called, what's it called? Do you know, I'm going to have to stop because that is a bit remiss of me. Where can we pull over? Yeah, I'm going to have to stop and get the name of the book, because I don't want to say it wrong. I've got an idea what it is, but I don't want to get it wrong. But many years ago, why are you slowing down? You could get a bus through there. Jeez. Again, it was at the Overland show. I think it might have been the same Overland show that I met Derek, actually. Not met Derek, I bumped into Derek last time. We parked the tents, and I woke up in the morning, parked the tents, parked the bikes, pitched the tents, had a few beers, etc. And then, alright. I've put Bernard Smith motorcycle. Bernard Smith. Right. Touching the World. That was it. Touching the World. That's what it's called. Yeah, I didn't want to get it wrong. What's going on there? Go away. Go ride. I'm still riding. But we pitched the tents, had a few beers, and I woke up the following morning, unzipped the tent. It was a beautiful morning. Unzipped the tent to get my little stall out, my fold up stall, get a brew going, have a bit of breakfast. And as I unzipped the tent, I looked literally straight opposite from where I was camped, and there was Bertha, the BMW, and I was like, fucking hell. And I was just chatting to one of the guys and said, I've literally just finished reading this book, and had a brew, and anyway, there's Bernard. So I literally wandered over to him, and you know, sometimes you don't want to sort of be the fanboy, but I just wandered over to him and said, I just want to say thanks for your book. You know, absolutely thoroughly enjoy it. It's one of those adventure books that, it's a proper adventure book, and the way it's written, because obviously Kathy was blind, the way it's written is lovely, because it encompasses two lots of views of motorcycle travel, I guess, and all the problems that he had, and the way that there were times when she couldn't help him, and there were times when she was an advantage because people would see that, you know, she couldn't see, and that would get them through things at times. But you got to read it anyway. You got to read it. But anyway, I wandered over to Bernard and just sort of said, look, I just wanted to say thanks for the book. And I actually said to him, I wish I'd bought my copy for you to sign. And anyway, we had a chat, you know, and that was it. So I go back to the tent. 5 minutes later, he wanders over with a copy of his book that he signed for me. Unbelievable. And I said, look, I've got to give you some money for this. I can't accept it. And he said, no, I want you to have it. So he wrote a little message. He signed the book, and he gave it to me. And yeah, it was just so touching that he did it. It was almost a bit emotional, if I'm honest, because it was just such a kind gesture. But it's what you get in the motorcycle world, I guess. So he said, well, if you want, look, just make a donation to Guide Dogs for the Blind, because obviously with Kathy being blind, that was a charity that one of the charities that they supported. So I said, I will. So what I did when I got home was I sponsored a guide dog, and we are now on our third guide dog. So I've continuously sponsored a guide dog from that day, and we get updates of how the puppies are doing and how they're growing, and then normally the last update is that they've gone to their owner, which is someone that they will assist for, you know, for years and years to come. So that's what I did in return for Bernard's generosity, and I don't mind that at all. So yeah, Bernard Smith, touching the world, well worth the breed. Now lastly, again in no particular order, Spencer James Conway. Now if you know Spencer, the guy's a loon. He is one of life's characters and a thoroughly decent bloke. I met Spencer years and years ago after he finished his circumnavigation of Africa on his Yamaha XTZ 660, I think it is, and he had the bike there with the bullet hole in the swing arm where he was shot at by you know, some rebels, some bandits, whatever they were. But that guy is a storyteller and a half. His books, he's written 2 books. I can't remember what they are. Zimbabwean Psychiatrist, I think, is one of them, and the something about carpets. I'm terrible today. So I think, oh, I'll chat about books, but then I don't remember what they're called. Let me pull over again. But Spencer is one of life's characters. If you ever get to see him give a talk about his shows, about his travels, they are fucking hysterical. He will have you in absolute stitches because the way he tells his stories, and he just goes off on complete tangents. They really are good. There he is. Okay, got all the way through. There you go, books. The Zimbabwean Psychiatrist's Hat, and the Japanese speaking curtain maker. Sorry, while I'm here, let me do Ted. Just to confirm his first book, Jupiter's Travels. Of course it is. You know why it's called Jupiter's Travels when you read it. But Spencer's storytelling is on my wavelength. He just says it as it is, and how he gets away with some of the stuff he does is, well, he gets away with it because he's a nice guy. He's one of these infectious people that you can't help smile when you meet him. Yeah, I met him at the show, and then I got chatting with him again at an Overland show, probably a couple of years after that. And he had some problems with his bike, and he had to catch a plane. So I offered for him to take my bike home, because he lives in Kent, or he lived in Kent at the time, so that he could then make his flight. But as it happens, with a whole host of people, got the bike running, and he managed to ride home. It's actually raining now, as you can probably see, so I think I'm going to be getting wet. But I bumped into Spencer and his good lady Kathy. I bumped into him in Canterbury one day, probably about 2-3 years ago, walking down Canterbury High Street, and he comes the other way. So, oh, yeah, Spencer. He goes, yeah, all right, yeah. How's things with you? Yeah, good. And we have a bit of a natter, and I was out with people from work, so I couldn't really hang around. And then completely randomly, he goes, I'm just dressed normally. He goes, you haven't really bought croppers, have you? Which is the sort of thing you would expect him to say. If you've ever met him, you'll know why. Yeah, you haven't really bought croppers, have you? So I've gone, no. And he goes, yeah, well, I can get any. So I said, no, not offhand. Why is that? He goes, I parked at a hotel car park. This is the County Hotel. I think it's called the County Hotel. It's probably called something different now, but it's the poshest hotel in the centre of Canterbury. It's got a private car park. Anyway, Spencer being Spencer's parked his bike in there and they've locked him in. So again, Spencer being Spencer, instead of going to reception and asking to be let out, probably because they're going to want some extortionate release fee, he goes, "Oh, you haven't really bulk poppers, have you?" We can all guess why. But yeah, Spencer Conway. If ever you get a chance to see one of his chats, do it. He's currently living in Central America. So if you Google, because I think he's starting to do a few bike tours, and I guarantee they will be epic. Obviously there's no guarantee that they will run 100% smoothly, and they will be all the better for it. I might be doing him a disservice, but if they go anything like some of his trips, you'll remember them for all the right reasons, and the right reasons are something's going to happen, which is one of the main reasons for actually going on one of his trips. I've got to say, I'm very tempted, because you know it's just going to be a laugh, an absolute laugh. Yeah, I think I might have to put my camera away, because I don't think this GoPro, there's a slide there, I don't think these GoPro cases like too much weight. So, right, I'm probably going to call it a day there, as he snicks the trusty RS into top gear, squeezes the power on. Not really. So yeah, if you do like a bit of a read, I'm sure all of these, or most of them, will be available on Kindle in some way, shape or form. And read them in no particular order, because they are all cracking reads. If you've got any books that you can recommend, or authors that you've met, or you know, or basically you just find some of their headlights on high beam. Idiots. Idiot. That you find entertaining, chuck them in the comments down below. I'm going to do the arrow like a YouTuber down below. Oh my god, look. Yeah, chuck them in the comments down below, because there's nothing quite like us all getting together and sharing stuff. And that's what I love about YouTube. I've seen so many good videos from, you know, they have the old suggested next, and you think, oh, I'll have a look at that, and I've found some awesome stuff, like Leaning to the Wind, which I've spoken about previously. I would never have found that, because it's a random channel. And I know people have randomly found this, searching for RS's. A lot of people, my most popular videos are my little BMW i3, my little electric car, which I love and love. But that's the most popular videos, because I guess that's what people search for, and that's what people want to view and watch. I'm not going to be making any more of them. I might make one in the future of how I'm getting on with it, but that's not the purpose of this channel. The purpose of this channel is the RS and motorcycles, and just talking absolute drivel. So, which is why I've got 340 subscribers instead of however many more there would be if you do car stuff, because it just doesn't interest me. If you do want to subscribe and a like, as I said on a previous episode, over in the, can you see me? That's a shit place for that tree or that post, isn't it? As I said in a previous video, it would be nice to get to 500 subscribers. That's a bit of an ambition. 500 would be nice, wouldn't it? Just to hit that number, I guess, because 500 to me is a lot of people that will watch this. Should we take a little view of the bike? Step out in the road, but it'd be a shame not to, wouldn't it? Oh, because it is a thing of beauty. Oh, look at that. Lovely. It's going to be dirty when I get home. Right, YouTube's my usual ending. If you're riding, stay safe, most important thing. If you're not riding, because it's raining, watch these crap videos, watch other crap videos, like them, share them, do all that sort of stuff, and spread the knowledge. Either way, Oh, I should have turned off back there. I should have turned off, yeah. Either way, everybody, take care, and I will catch you on the next episode of RS'ing About. Cheers all, see you soon. The end of it, sorry guys, just a very quick bit on the end of it. I'm not sure how clear that will be, because I've just noticed that the glass lens cover that I had just came off and it looked a bit cloudy. So if the image was a bit shit, you know why. It was a screen protector that seemed to have got a bit of water behind it. So yeah, you might see this on the end, because if it's clear I won't bother putting this on the end, but if it was a bit fuzzy, then I'll put this on the end to explain it, if that explains it. Anyway, catch you soon. Cheers.